Support for this podcast comes from St. Alphonsus Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Clinics, with physicians, physical therapists, and trainers who treat sports and performance-related injuries, with locations across the valley. More information on services and locations at stalphonsus.org/stay active.
Public media is under immediate threat. I'm General Manager Tom Michael from Boise State Public Radio. In the coming days, the U.S. Senate is expected to vote on a rescission request from the White House, which wants to claw back funds that were already approved by Congress. This station is one of hundreds across the country that would lose out. You can let your U.S. Senator know directly that you value funding for public radio. Or visit protectmypublicmedia.org.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector. It's Idaho's Daily News. Good morning. I'm George Prentice. We've got a good many stories to share with you on this day. Here we go. The Boise City Council this week changed its noise ordinance, allowing citizens to use loudspeakers and megaphones in peaceful protests. Jamie Geary tells us more.
The change comes after the Idaho chapter of the Sierra Club won a federal lawsuit filed against the city last April. The suit alleged the city of Boise violated citizens' First Amendment rights by ticketing or detaining protesters who use loudspeakers and megaphones. Richie Eppink, a lawyer for Rest Collective, represented the Sierra Club in this case. He says the club discussed legal action for 2 years before filing a lawsuit against the city.
After a series of arrests and tickets for protesters using megaphones in Boise, they decided that time had come to challenge that ordinance because it's plainly unconstitutional.
2 weeks after the lawsuit was filed last year, the Idaho District Court judge issued a temporary injunction. It protected the Sierra Club's use of megaphones in peaceful protests. Tuesday's council amendment provides that same protection for any peaceful assembly in Boise. It also requires the city to pay the Sierra Club an $80,000 settlement. Jamie Geary, Boise State Public Radio News.
At the height of summer, more people are using the Boise Greenbelt than ever before, and with that, speed on the Greenbelt, particularly the speed of bikes and e-bikes, continues to be a hot topic. The Greenbelt does not have a mandated speed limit, but the city of Boise has a rule that people with no regard to pedestrians could face an infraction. And this week, the city of Boise approved a memorandum of understanding among law enforcement in Boise, Eagle, Garden City, Star, plus Ada County sheriffs to allow officers to enforce Greenbelt violations no matter what jurisdiction they're in. Here are Boise Council members Lucy Willits and Jordan Morales.
I agree this may not be the end-all be-all, but it's a step in the right direction, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this progresses and if this helps the problem, and then we can reevaluate and continue to address it.
There are some particular parts of the Greenbelt that just make sense to dismount. Whether it's intersections at bridges and tunnels. For a lot of users, think about your grandparents using the Greenbelt, right? And how fast at all if you'd want to ride around them. So I think this is an important additional step, and I hope that it helps users be able to do so more safely.
And the official rule is that anyone who travels in a way that, quote, is not reasonable and prudent could face an infraction. And the Memorandum of Understanding was approved this week. After-school programs in Idaho facing cutbacks or possible closures due to frozen federal grants have a bit more breathing room. As James Dawson tells us, the State Department of Education is helping fund those grants through the end of the year.
Karma Metzler-Fitzgerald, who co-founded the Lincoln County Youth Center, got the email Wednesday afternoon.
What a huge sigh of relief.
The Idaho Department of Education wrote in the email to grantees it found $2.8 million from previous fiscal years to cover those receiving the 21st Century Community Learning Centers grants through December. More than $6 billion in funds for after-school programs, along with grants for teacher training and English language learners, have been frozen by the Trump administration for further review. Metzler Fitzgerald says she's thankful for the help, though she'll continue to fundraise and apply for other grants in case these funds are not renewed.
The nonprofit world is a tight one right now with the loss of so much federal funding. There is so much more competition for grant money, and it's tough.
Department officials weren't available to comment on specifics of the funds by publication. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
Homeowners insurance premiums are taking a larger bite out of household incomes and are outpacing inflation. The Mountain West News Bureau's Murphy Woodhouse has details on what the trend looks like in our region.
Nationwide, the percentage of household income spent on homeowners insurance premiums nearly doubled between the early 2000s and 2022, jumping from 1.2 to 2.1%. That's according to recent analysis by the Insurance Research Council, an industry-supported nonprofit.
The trend is that affordability has been deteriorating. It's a countrywide trend. It's not just in the last couple of years. It's been going on for 20 years.
That's Dale Porfilio, the council's president. The picture in the West is a varied one. Utah is sitting at just 1%, the lowest figure in the country, while Wyoming, Montana, New Mexico, and Colorado are all above the U.S. average. A common theme in the West, Porfilio says, is the growing threat of wildfire.
The industry has been struggling with how to go about and price for the wildfire risk, which we definitely see increasing, again related to climate risk.
He says that efforts to improve home and community wildfire resilience could help improve the affordability and accessibility issue. For the Mountain West News Bureau, I'm Murphy Woodhouse.
This week, the City of Boise was honored for its level of volunteerism. While there are countless volunteer organizations in the region, there is also an effort called Just Serve. Founded in 2012, its advisory council includes leaders from the Salvation Army, the LDS Church, and the Red Cross. It is an app and website linking possible volunteers to local needs. This is Jim Valentine, a volunteer with Just Serve, standing before the Boise City Council this week.
Right now, you can go on and look. There's like 81 projects for Boise alone that people can look on and to serve and to volunteer with.
And in the Boise area, Just Serve currently lists needs for volunteers with summer lunch programs, food pantries, assistance with refugees or student tutoring, and the City of Boise was honored for its level of volunteerism.
There are currently 58 designated Just Serve cities across the United States, and Boise now is proudly one of them. In fact, Boise is one of just 10 global Just Serve city awardees worldwide, and this November, Just Serve will further recognize your commitment to service at the National League of Cities City Summit in Salt Lake.
That's Chris Booker, another local Just Serve volunteer, and the national and global awards were presented to the City of Boise this week. And that is today's episode of The Connector. I'm George Prentice. To stay in touch with the news, check out BoiseStatePublicRadio.org or download the free Boise State Public Radio app. And thanks for listening.
These days, there's so much news, it can be hard to keep up with what it all means for you, your family, and your community. The Consider This podcast from NPR features our award-winning journalism. 6 days a week, we bring you a deep dive on a news story and provide the context and analysis that helps you make sense of the news. We get behind the headlines. We get to the truth. Listen to the Consider This podcast from NPR.